Folks, welcome back. It is that time of year. It is the show of shows. It is a spectacle unlike any other. It is Wrestlemania. And of course, this is not wrestling with a budget. This is not wrestling with your conscience. It's wrestling with emotion. And of course, we cannot do anything but a star-studded cast for this star-studded event. On your left to right, we have Ty B, Ernie Green, Zach McAdoo, Mike Straw Media, Ryan Talbot, and, of course, Dwayne O'Mania. Gentlemen, folks, how are we doing tonight?
Fantastic!
Fantastic. It's WrestleMania season, baby.
It is that time of year. Cannot be more exciting. So typically we tee off our shows here. We say, what's the storyline that you're most excited for in WWE? So we got to change it up with WrestleMania basically all but here. What is the match, without getting too far into it, without getting too far into your prediction, that you're looking forward to most at WrestleMania? Ty B, start us off.
Fiend and Orton. I think that's where, they've done a really good job with all this stuff with the Fiend, some crazy cinematics and everything. You're getting the fans back. I'm excited to see what they do with them.
I'll piggyback off Ty for sure. I think the new look for the Fiend is unbelievable. I can't wait to see where they go with it, and I think you might even get more of an evolution here eventually of Alexa Bliss. I think it's only a matter of time before she takes on a similar persona, right?
I'm just going to go somewhere else because you guys, I agree with you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing Ria Ripley versus Asuka. Even though it has been well promoted, I think it's going to be a fantastic match.
I agree, but for a completely different reason I'll get to later.
I'll go with the triple threat match main event. I don't know how that's going to work out right now. That they've actually done a good job of building up that card and that match specifically.
How is no one talking Seth Rollins versus Cesaro? I'll get into that later. But the fact that not one of you, not one.
Listen, okay. Well, just never mind. We'll get into it.
During my prediction, I'll explain why, Mike.
We are going to get into it, and the Fiend versus Randy Orton, obviously a popular pick. Rollins versus Cesaro can steal the show, but that's the great thing. This card is chock full of action. These superstars, many of them have worked year-long for this moment, for this opportunity on the company's biggest stage over 2 nights. I mean, there's double-digit matches. It is crazy. With that said, before we get into what will be WrestleMania 37, let's just talk real quick, past WrestleMania memories. I know, McAdoo, you've been running through a survey. You've been seeing all the data there. And maybe what, this company has done the past year. I think it's been amazing to see the Thunderdome come to fruition. I think that they've kind of defined sports entertainment when there weren't crowds. Now that crowds are returning, I mean, seeing live fans at these NXT events, it's amazing. So, Ty B, what does WrestleMania mean to you, I guess? And what have you thought over how WWE's handled this past year?
Yeah, I mean, not to steal the thunder from AEW, but it's the pinnacle of wrestling. I mean, it's the biggest event, and it's what, these moments and everything, in wrestling and everything these people work for their entire careers comes a culmination in one big event. It's, your blockbuster movie, and, it's produced some of the greatest superstars we've seen in all of entertainment, not just sports entertainment. You think about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Like, his career was made off of those moments, and I can't wait because I think we're going to have some big ones with this whole 2-night event, Maniac.
And McAdoo, you saw the data, you saw what everyone was saying. Between that and your thoughts on WrestleMania, like, what do you think looking back at this past year, and what's maybe the biggest WrestleMania moment that stands out to you?
Okay, so the one thing that I've noticed with the fans is that they usually cling to 1 or 2 matches from each Mania, and they don't look at the whole card. So, I mean, that's why you saw a lot of people say 35 was the best, or one that actually 20 is actually what has surprised me a lot. And I'm actually going to stick with that. And I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with this. I'm going in with what was in the moment at the time. I don't care. I'm not going to say I don't care what he did. I can't say what I want to say because I'll get censored. I don't want to
say it.
Okay. He's a piece of shit for what he did after this. But WrestleMania 20 with Eddie Guerrero and Redacted in the center of the ring, celebrating their title victories. I know what he did, okay? There's no excuse for that. He's been buried, but you can't tell me in the moment that was not the best WWE moment.
I agree with him.
I love the passion. Give it to him, Dwayne.
I agree with him. Regardless of what Benoit did, and I'm sure there were a lot of circumstances surrounding that will either be maybe be more revealed in the future. We all know that we're on the world of CTE. Back then, it wasn't really taken very seriously, if at all. But with that being said, I think that just everything that was building up to that moment in both those wrestlers' careers, the things they went through in WCW leading into that to get to where they were and the work it took. And if you know anything about those two guys, how seriously they took their craft and how much a good match meant to Eddie Guerrero and Benoit, that moment was really the culmination of all that hard work into the little things that they took so seriously, probably more seriously than others, to create what was a good or even a perfect match. So for me, that I agree with McAdoo for that's in my top 3 for sure. Just that them coming together and embracing what obviously was the best of friends, but finally them both coming together at the same time, reaching their ultimate goal together.
Before we get too into it, I'll just spurn out a couple of mine. I think Wrestlemania is a no doubter. I think that for me, I mean, the John Cena running down amongst all the John Cenas, like that was very reminiscent of Eminem from the late 90s at the MTV VMAs. So that was really cool.
2000 VMAs. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so like that was like, it's cool when WWE actually steals content and like does a good job with it. Like a lot of time they don't even change anything. It's just completely obvious. But yeah, this is a chance to, propel a superstar. Like we saw at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan. That's lasted 7 years. I mean, the legacy that he's sold since, that's crazy. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? If Cesaro beats Rollins, could that propel him to a universal title shot down the line in these next couple of weeks? If, Reginald, has a huge moment, who knows what's next for him? Anything can happen. It's WrestleMania. Does anyone else have a moment they want to get in? Does anyone else have a point they want to get in before we start breaking into this buffet?
One thing that I don't think people are like, for me, it kind of foreshadowed what crowds would become for wrestling in the Smarky days. And that was the crowd taking over Goldberg-Lesnar at Mania 20.
That was awesome.
The match was the match, like if you mute the crowd and you just skip the first 5 minutes, it was a typical big guy, like 2 powerhouse type match. But the crowd, that foreshadowed everything we've seen over the last like maybe 5 to 7 years of wrestling.
Yeah,
and
that was amazing.
It's so awesome to hear. I'll watch that just because hearing Goldberg look at Lesnar and say, you know what, F these people. And I'm just sitting there, this is the greatest thing ever. And then Lesnar's flipping off the crowd. It was just great.
First off, shout out to Reginald the Simp guy. I didn't get his handle right away, but that guy's awesome. Maniac, 37 years of WrestleManias, and that's the person you're going to talk about? But anyway,
hey, John Cena's actually in this show right now, but you can't see him.
Okay.
That's what makes it the show it shows, Ernie.
I was lucky enough to see WrestleMania 3 live, and WrestleMania 3 live was the best book card I've ever seen in my entire life live. People forget how, in the moment, like, the Roddy Piper hair thing, like, for a 7-year-old kid, it was sensory overload, and because there's so many great things happening. Adrian Adonis got his head shaved, and he had it coming for 6 months. Danny Davis, even though he won the match, got beat up finally, and that was coming for months. The Ricky Steamboat Randy Savage match still might be the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, and then Hogan slamming Andre in the same freaking card. I mean, that just, to me, was absolutely incredible. So for me, WrestleMania 3 is just the pinnacle of professional wrestling. I got to see it live, and people forget, like, in the moment, that was just such a well-booked card from start to finish. And Maniac, you're muted.
I got to stop muting myself. Talbot, you got anything before we start this roller coaster, this pirate ship that is WrestleMania 37?
No specifics. A lot, the WrestleMania, though, that card does stand out, that like you mentioned, but I always enjoy every WrestleMania, and I'm looking forward to this 2-night event.
All right. Well, hey, if we don't hurry up, this is about to be a 2-night event. Shout out everybody tuning in. And probably if you're tuning into a Trainwreck Sports live show, you're probably wondering, crossing swords. What's that? Devil Sabres 3-3 right now in the third period. We'll keep you updates on that. But this is about WrestleMania, folks. So let's get underway. One of the first matches. There are no unimportant matches at WrestleMania. We got many storylines developing. Which tag team will take that next step? We'll take opportunity of this tag team turmoil match between Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, the Riot Squad, Natty and Tamina, and then chalk laden with storylines, long-term building out the wazoo, Lana and Naomi. Ty B, kick us off.
Yeah, this one for me is interesting because when I'm looking at it, I'm like, who's most likely to beat Jax and Baszler? Because you've seen sort of a rift growing between them, so I think they might be getting ready to take the belts away from them, letting them go back solo. Especially when you look at some of the women who are going to be coming back into the fold over the next few months, could make it very interesting in the singles department with tons of big storylines. So I don't know, I'm just going to throw a dart at the board, shout out Meerkat. I'm going to go Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
I'm going to agree with Ty B there. I think Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose for sure. I just think that eventually, they haven't been getting like an extreme push, but I feel like there has been some type of a push there for them too. They've been a tag team for a little bit right now. And I don't think you can deny the athleticism and the athleticism of Dana Brooke, and just obviously the pretty face of Mandy Rose. I'm not saying taking away from what she can do physically, but clearly she is a face in the WWE in the women's division, and I could definitely see them putting both straps on both those girls. I think it's about time, especially with Dana Brooke, that they give either of these ladies a push.
Let's not forget Asuka's nickname for this tag team, Sexy Muscle Friends. I mean, it's pretty good. Go ahead, Ernie.
I agree with both of you, which is why I'm picking Lana and Naomi, because what you said made perfect sense. So, and it's WWE, so that's why I'm going with somebody else.
Anyone who's watched Wrestling with Emotion knows that Ernie loves his, that makes too much sense, I'm picking the other option.
You fade yourself sometimes.
And
Okay, Ernie, I know you're going to go with it. Yeah, they're definitely not going to book them. There's no way they don't book Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose to win Saturday, excuse me. But they're just they're the only people that I could actually see with a chance to win and then go on and beat back Jackson Baszler. So Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, book it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll go with Mandy and Dana to win that. They definitely have at least the look, the strength that could kind of go against a Baszler and Nia Jax team for the titles eventually. So we'll go with that duo here to win on Saturday night.
I'm going with, this is why Ernie and I get along so great. I'm going Lana and Naomi, because this might be WWE saying, you want long-term storytelling? We'll give you long-term storytelling. And somehow Nia goes through a table. We'll get to that. And it's all going to lead to Lana ending Mania as a tag team champion. It's all coming full circle with that.
I think the picks are pretty straightforward here. Natty and Tamina are vets. They don't need the moment. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke could use the Bush Riot Squad, not so much. I'm going to go with Straw's logic here. I think they're going to go with long-term storytelling. They're going to go with Lana celebrating it at Mania or something. She'll probably be out of the company in like 2 months or something. No one WWE.
No,
but
I would love the Riot Squad, but WWE doesn't know what to do with good talent.
I would love literally anybody but Lana and Naomi, even though I have a ton of respect for Naomi because
I feel bad that she's been put with Lana.
Agreed. I would love to have anybody else but her. I'm just going with my head, not my heart in this one.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what you got to do, and we're going to be doing that in the next matchup. I'm locking in Lana and Co. We got musician versus musician in this next battle. And we're not talking about Elias. We're talking about Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. I mean, this feud, honestly, has been going longer than half the feuds that are taking place at Mania right now. I mean, this goes back to the Royal Rumble. Miz has been WWE champion in the meantime, so I mean, some could say a light moment, but he has not, skipped a beat. This is a guy who understands the business and can make anything out of it. He's going to be going against a Grammy winner. Ty B, who you got when Miz and Morrison with their new song? We might have to have McAdoo perform it later. But versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. What do you got?
Yeah, so I think a big thing about this is Triple H was just on Part of My Take on Friday, I believe, and they were talking, or Wednesday, whatever, I don't know, whatever day it was, and they were talking about this leading up to it, and how Bad Bunny actually went down and, rented out a house in Orlando, and he's been down there training at the Performance Center the entire time, and he's been taking bumps. He's working through it, and this is like an actual dream come true for him. It's not just, hey, I'm a big star, throw me out there. So I think we're going to see a really good performance out of him, and I love Damian Priest. I think, bringing him up the way they did and pairing him with Bad Bunny gives him a big push. It gives him a face next to him to help legitimize himself on the WWE roster. So I think they're going to get the win here, and I think we're going to see something very interesting going on in this fight. No more gimmicky guitars breaking. I think we're going to see like a legitimate wrestler out of Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I think, when you think of Miz and WrestleMania, I always, one of the biggest disappointments, that past WrestleMania is I always remember the mixed tag match with Nikki Bella and Cena against Maurice and Miz, and all the work that was put in by Miz and Maurice to build that match, and all the promos and the rules of Cena's house stuff they did, and just how it was all done to put over an engagement that never lasted. So when I think of Miz at WrestleMania, I always think, yeah, he's probably putting somebody over. In this case, it's going to be Damian Priest. So I'm going to go Bad Bunny and Damian Priest here.
Bad Bunny would not be at WrestleMania if he was going to lose. That's just, that's celebrity 101. I think that Bad Bunny, I heard that whole thing too, Ty, about Bad Bunny working at the Performance Center. I think he's going to put on a better performance than we expect. I think it's going to be more of a wrestling match than it's going to be a circus. And I'm actually looking forward to the match.
All right. Bad Bunny, he surprised me because when they announced him at Royal Rumble, I was like, oh my God, this is just going to be so bad. I don't listen to his music, but he's come out and actually impressed me. And he's actually taken to the business, like you guys said. And he very well he's going to outperform what a lot of us think he's going to do. So to give the fans what they want, let me see how it goes. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Miz and Morrison are taking the L, but that doesn't rhyme. So I got Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Yeah, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest. WWE loves the celebrities having their moments. That way it'll be promoted mainstream media, ESPN, a lot of other outlets. It just makes too much sense.
That's so key here. If Miz and Morrison pick up the victory, we're not seeing on Good Morning America tomorrow.
No.
Bingo. And yeah, Bad Bunny. I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. Bad Bunny is going to put a better performance together than Pat McAfee.
Oh, I knew you were about to say that. I can't believe that. We'll see.
Pat McAfee has the athletic background, but there's something about Bad Bunny where I expect him to pull out a scissors kick. There's no way he does a song about Booker T and doesn't have a scissors kick as a finisher. There's no way. Or he tries to bookend or something. He's going to do something like that, but this is going to be, it's hard to not see it being treated like a legitimate match. Damian Priest is going to be made to look like a star. And the Miz and Morrison, they're at this point in their careers where they can lose every match for the rest of their careers, and they're going to be fine coming out of it because they're two talented sons of bitches.
Do we all not want to be at that point in our career where we can just constantly put over other people and still be massively successful and cash checks?
I know. I've been putting over people since day one.
Brooms, folks. Break out your brooms because we have a Bad Bunny and Damian Priest sweep. I will say historically, when this panel has a sweep, it's only really about 50-50. So I think this is more than that. But we roll on. We aren't messing around. And it's a new day. Yes, it is. And they will be taking on AJ Styles and Omos. Talk about suspense. What is this guy going to do? They've been teasing it a little bit. He looks like an absolute powerhouse. Looks like, if I had to say, with what I've seen so far, kind of like a slightly more athletic Great Khali. And I don't know if you really need much more than that. I think Great Khali on himself was a spectacle.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
How is he a Hall of Famer?
Straw always has to come in with something. But let's come in with something. Let's come in with a pick of this match. And this is another situation where you have a tag team in New Day, just like you did in Miz and Morrison. They absolutely do not need this win at all. And then you have Styles and Omos making their debut. So Ty B, kick us off. Is it a New Day? And are they going to be embracing the power of positivity? Or are we positive that Styles and Omos will be picking up that dub?
Yeah, first, real quick, Sabres just let up another goal, down 4-3 now, halfway through the third period. But I
A
think
guy named Jesper. A guy named Jesper scored on the Sabres.
Bokfist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting matchup. Like you said, we haven't seen Omos yet, and they've teased it, and I think it could be very interesting. Like when I see AJ Styles next to him, it reminds me the first time I went to a UB press conference, and I was standing next to Tyree Jackson, and I just looked up, and I was like, yeah, he's actually 6'7". I think Omos is like that same way, and he could be extremely athletic, and I'm excited to see, what we're going to see out of him. I think if they plan on, keeping Omos with Styles for the future, why not, let them keep wrestling as a tag team right now. I think it's a good way to keep Styles relevant and keep them in the conversation and keep pushing the shows weekly, because I think Omos can be very entertaining in the ring, possibly.
Definitely agree with Ty there. I think this is, has Styles and Omos winning 100%. I think Omos is going to be a face for a little bit here. We all know how much Vince loves big guys, and putting him with a guy like AJ Styles, who might be able to make up for maybe some of the early deficiencies that Omos might have in the ring, just seems like the recipe for success for this tag team. So I definitely agree for sure. Omos and AJ Styles all the way.
I see this being similar to the Team Hell No match versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E at WrestleMania, I believe it was 29, where Big E got a ton of offense in. They kind of showcased him, but they still lost the match. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Omos going to have a bunch of powerful moments where, like, how can you stop them? But the New Day is going to figure out a way to win and keep their titles.
You just made a lot of sense there, but I still can't change. It's still got to go AJ and Omos. I feel like they wouldn't put AJ in this type of match without him coming out on top.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Styles and Omos as well. And I don't know what Omos is going to be like long term, but I almost get that HBK Diesel vibe with this duo. You have the big guy and you have the talented performer in Styles, so you could have them together for a while. And then, Styles doesn't mean to hit him down the road, and that's how you get that face turn from Omos. Obviously, Omos has a lot of ground to cover before he can be a solid performer in the ring, but that's kind of the vibe I get. They win the titles early, and then eventually you break them apart with Omos being the face.
Yeah, I want to say New Day, but I'm leaning AJ Styles and Omos. Omos has this bar. In my mind, I see him being where his peak is Great Khali. His floor is Nathan Jones. Like, not good, like terrible, but can be serviceable for like 5 months. But if there's anybody that's going to make Omos look good, you have two of the greatest to do it in Kingston and Woods. Woods especially. Woods can make a mop look like Shawn Michaels with how he is in the ring.
So can Kofi.
Yeah, and so Omos is going to come out of this looking good, win or lose, but I think Omos and Styles pull it off, but I don't think they have a long title reign. Maybe a month at most.
This will be the match that, I wouldn't say it steals the show, but expectations-wise, this might be the match that surpasses expectations the most. I think New Day are going to lose. They're going to put Omos and AJ Styles over. AJ might be, like a very skittish, heelish type in the match, and Omos might get a facish victor, exactly like you said, Talbot. But yeah, I think New Day will relish the opportunity to take a predictable situation. Everyone kind of predicts Omos and AJ Styles to win, and turning it into a great match. So the panel, although we did have some New Day,
I got one question for you guys. Do you guys think Omos is just going to have like a choke slam finish, or is he going to actually have something legitimate?
I think we get I think a power bomb. I honestly think a power bomb is his finish. Some sort of power bomb. I'd love to see him bring back the jackknife, because there's something about the jackknife just dropping them that I've always loved. But I think something on that lines.
Okay. Well, hey, we are moving along. We are through 3 of 14 matches. This is still night 1 for WrestleMania. We have Braun Strowman. I had to do it once. I'm sorry. Versus Shane McMahon. And Shane has nowhere to go. He will be locked inside of a steel cage. There will be no help. And speaking of no help, we have assistance on the way. Monster is in the building. Welcome, Monster. How we doing? All right, we got technical issues with Monster. Don't blame Peacock. It's not their fault. We're going to get Monster working. But folks, Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. I just don't see any way that this doesn't go Braun's way, but obviously we know that given it being WrestleMania, given there being a stipulation against a much more powerful opponent, Shane McMahon will find a way to basically reach the point of death and then eventually get pinned. I guess that would be my thought. There will be some kind of spectacle where he'll steal the show. So I'll lead it off here real quick before we go to Ty B. I got Braun Strowman over Shane McMahon here, Ty B.
I mean, it's Trainwreck Sports, and you know the train never stops, Maniac. You can't pick against the Strowman Express. You get on those tracks, you're going to get run over. You're going to get these hands. It's the same way with Trainwreck, so it's not stopping. I think Strowman runs all over Shane. I mean, I don't know why they had to bring Shane in for another storyline like this. It's just so repetitive. It's the same thing year after year. And I don't know, like bringing up the fake report card and all that in the age of bullying and cyberbullying and everything. I don't know if it was the best look, but I think Strowman's going to make up for it.
Oh, yeah. Strowman is going to destroy Shane. I mean, Shane's going to have a one WrestleMania moment. You know that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, this is going to somehow, some way, he put Braun Strowman over with Shane McMahon like that ever had to happen to begin with. But, yeah, it's going to be a Braun Strowman win across the board. Anybody thinks Shane McMahon is winning this match, it's lunacy.
Braun Strowman, and I'm not wasting another second on it.
Braun Strowman, and going back to what Tybee said, they were going to an anti-bullying thing to make you hate Shane, like they made you hate Alexa when she faced Nia Jax.
Mania 33.
34.
Was it 34? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'll go Braun unless they're introducing someone to kind of for him to manage eventually. I'll go with Braun Strowman to win this over Shane McMahon.
No one wants to go for the best in the world. I can't do it. I'm not Greg Hamilton. No, it's Braun. And the best part about being a cage match is we don't have to hear that stupid Braun train horn when he's running around the damn ring.
Yeah.
You are, Ernie, you are kidding yourself if you don't think they're going to find a way to get outsid of the steel cage. And
No.
Strowman is still – you don't think that all the branding they built around that
he's going to run it around the top of the cage.
Dude, if that cage supports that, if that happened and that cage supported that, I need to find who built that. Because I'll build, like, that's what we do to build against hurricane force winds. We build all structures on that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Jesus.
All right, so the crew is leaning Braun. So we're pretty lopsided so far in these matchups on night one. Let's delay McIntyre Lashley a little bit. Let's go to a bit of an artistic matchup here. I'm talking about Rollins versus Cesaro. I don't know what was going on with Rollins' suit last week. It was pretty crazy. It looked like something you buy off a Facebook ad for $29.99. And I love Rollins.
Wish.com.
I love Rollins. Yes, I love my Monday Night Messiah, who's now on SmackDown. But I think that this is a monster scenario to put over Cesaro. If you're ever gonna do it, this is seriously your opportunity to have a 4-star, 4.5-star, 5-star match. Have Cesaro come out of it looking good. Have the strongest pound-for-pound wrestler in WWE in a great spot. But before I make my pick, we'll go to Ty B. Ty B, what do you got for Rollins, Cesaro?
Yeah, earlier you said something about Cesaro potentially being propelled forward, and I had a little chuckle to myself because I think he's going to be spinning Seth Rollins like a propeller. He's going to be flying a la Wright Brothers. He's going to spin this man so many times. He's going to end up in China because he's going to be digging through the earth. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. I love, Rollins going like full Karen, complaining about the spinning, like to juxtapose that Monday Night Messiah character and everything. I think it made for a good storyline to build up over, a few weeks into WrestleMania. I like Cesaro in this one.
Yeah, Cesaro for sure, because it's about time he got he had his moment in the sun. It's long overdue. So definitely gonna agree with Ty there. Absolutely, everything's been built up for a Cesaro victory here. So and again, Seth Rollins is the same type of character where he can lose a WrestleMania match and not lose any steam at all. So I'll go Cesaro for sure.
I'm going to pick with my heart here, not my head, and pick Cesaro. I've thought 5 or 6 times they were going to push him to the next level since he's been in WWE. And every single time that I thought they were going to, I feel like Charlie Brown getting the football taken away from me by Lucy. So I'm picking Cesaro, but I would be 0% surprised if Seth wins, unfortunately, because, again, that would not make sense. That's WWE logic not making sense.
and this is going back to the beginning when Straw was the one who said that none of us had this match. I didn't want to bring this up because I'm a big Rollins fan, but unfortunately it's going to be Cesaro. And actually not unfortunately, because he deserves this push. He's worked his ass off. It's time to give him a world title.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cesaro as well. He deserves it, as you guys have mentioned. Seth Rollins has no problem putting people over. He did it last year with Kevin Owens. He'll do it again this year. And he's not going to lose any steam from it. He's still going to be a main event player for years to come in the WWE.
Yeah, it's Cesaro all day. And if it's not, then WWE is more tone deaf than I could have thought. This match, Cesaro brought up on Renee Young's podcast, Renee Paquette's podcast, about wanting Cesaro 360 shirts. I just swung your ass. And I think that's the greatest thing ever to capitalize. But it's there. Everything is right there. It's a perfect bowl. And it's just the greatest stew ever created is right there.
Especially with fans back.
The crowd will go nuts for a Cesaro win. Yeah. Like, everybody loves this guy. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic, whether people want to give him credit because of his accent or not. I think people are just don't like accents for some reason. Vince. It's hard for me to see this match being anything more than 4.5 stars. It can't be 5 stars because it's not in the Tokyo Dome, but it'll be 4.5.
Okay.
You guys have legalized marijuana for like 30 minutes up there, and all of a sudden he's talking about the perfect bowl. I like it.
Of course. Talking about jumping ahead. Someone who might not agree with that, Monster. What are we thinking over there, mister?
All right, it took me a minute. I got to get on the laptop. I sent the invite. There's no way they let Cesaro win. All the money and stock they've invested in storylines and Seth Rollins and building him in the Shield and Triple H. Well, if Cesaro wins, where do they go from there? What is Cesaro's storyline, and where is Seth Rollins' storyline? Like, if Cesaro wins, Seth Rollins has to go back to the bottom. Where do they build him, and where do they push Cesaro from there? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you put him over? Do I think Cesaro's a better wrestler? Absolutely. But as far as Vince and this is good shit in the storyline, I don't see him putting him over.
I think it's a fair point. I guess one of these guys is going to have to eat the L, and they'll be back at the bottom of the barrel for sure. I think if I had to see that, I would much rather see it with Rollins for sure. So hopefully WWE makes the right call, exactly like Straw alluded to. They don't miss the obvious that's right in front of them, and they put Cesaro over because Rollins could easily be back in title contention in 2 or 3 months. If Cesaro takes a loss here, he's done. I don't mean that for his career, but main event picture, he's done.
For WWE, look at when McIntyre won the title. Big Show was his first challenge, and then Ziggler's coming off 12 straight losses, and then he challenges for the belt. You don't need to. Yeah, Rollins could challenge for the title on Friday.
I completely forgot.
Rollins lost at Mania last year. He got it at Money in the Bank the next pay-per-view. So,
okay, well, hey, appreciate everybody rolling with us. We are just a half hour in to Wrestling with Emotion. We are breaking down the Wrestlemania matchups that are coming this weekend, Saturday and Friday night. And either the main event or the second main event for Saturday night will be the almighty Bobby Lashley defending his championship against Drew McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath. Dwayne, what do you see happening in this matchup for WWE's most prestigious gold?
Absolutely McIntyre getting back the belt. I just don't see. I think there's more storyline between Cedric, Shelton, and between Cedric and Shelton and MVP and Lashley. I think they're absolutely going to get involved in this match, leading to a McIntyre win. So I think for sure this is Drew McIntyre, winning the belt back.
Yeah, I mean, I think they set it up perfectly, taking the belt away the way they did, kind of screwing him over. It set up that big WrestleMania moment for Drew that he didn't really get last year. Yes, he did win the belt and everything, but, without the fans being there and everything, he didn't get that full shine, and he really did kind of carry a lot of the weight for WWE during the pandemic, I thought. His heavy lifting on that roster, especially early on, was key for them. I think, the point about the Hurt Business and them, kind of breaking up and disbanding, whatever else, I think, that is a great rift there, and it creates some storyline for Lashley and MVP to have going forward. And I think it's got to be Drew.
I'll be back in 20 seconds.
I will say that the Hurt Business kind of dissolving so quickly. I got vibes similar to when Asuka had to drop the title to Charlotte Flair a couple years ago before the Becky Ronda Charlotte main event. It just felt kind of construed at the last second. So it'll be Bobby on an island with MVP versus Drew McIntyre because it wouldn't make sense with a full arsenal of the Hurt Business. But we go back 2 or 3 months. I think this panel was talking that the Hurt Business was one of the best things WWE had going. So we talk a lot that they don't listen to their fans, but they followed through on that. And I really believe that if the Hurt Business can find a way to reconcile, business could be very good in 2021.
All right. This is what I got to say about this matchup. Bobby Lashley, wrestling is 50% physical ability and 50% entertainment. Bobby Lashley is boring. You're not good on the mic. The same reason why they put Heyman with Brock Lesnar. Because you're ass. You have nobody believes you.
Yeah.
Like, as far as that goes, Drew McIntyre is more of a believable personality, and he's earned it, rather than Bobby Lashley. Like, if they put Lashley over, where does the storyline go from there? Like,
I agree. I think everybody on this panel would agree that in the run-up to WrestleMania last year, Drew really, kind of made that run as a personality. He always had the physical ability, but the personality, even with the counting down before he hit the Claymore, it was lame stuff, but so is Chris Jericho running a list around. If you run it the right way, you might just make it work.
And Zach just made the list. So
okay, I did make the list. Let's round out night 1, gentlemen. It is one of the most anticipated matchups. They did do the classic tag team into face-off storyline at Mania. It is Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. I mean, we are looking at 2 women's superstars here that are undoubtedly and probably in WWE's mind keystones of their women's divisions for the next 5 to 10 years. Both superstars, at least, for sure. So a big opportunity for both on the main stage here. Ty B, what do you see happening when the EST of WWE goes up against the boss, which is still the best stick of WWE?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun one. They did a good job with the build up again, dividing them, after they've, paired them up a little bit on the tag team and whatnot. And I think Bianca's just had, a great run over these past few months. I think, they've been building her for this moment to get a title. And, we keep harping on this, getting the fans back in there. I think that's exactly, what this is for. I think Bianca gets over in this one. I love her athleticism. She's, a great personality as well. I think she could have a nice long run here with the title. I don't know about you, Ryan.
Yeah, I think you give the belt to Bianca Belair. She's that new face that you want in the promotion. You want to give her the belt after winning, the Royal Rumble. I think that Sasha Banks obviously doesn't need the belt. She can stay involved, though, in that picture down the road, whether it's immediate or a few months from now. So you definitely give it to Bianca Belair.
This is where I get really frustrated. This should be Bayley and Sasha.
Yes. They rushed that. They pulled the trigger on that 4 months ago or 5 months ago, right?
Sasha should not have come back until the Rumble. Plain and simple.
But why? They've already battled each other. It's a boring storyline. It's been beat to death both ways.
Well, that was the point. It shouldn't have happened by the time it did. But I still don't get Bianca. I don't get her. I don't like her as this baby face you root for. She should be a heel. I don't like her character direction or anything. It's gonna be Bianca. I want it to be Sasha.
It's gonna be Belair wins. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Monster.
I just don't know what you want to see with Sasha and Bayley. We've seen it. We've seen it from both sides. The bad girl, the turn, they're friends, they're not friends, they smack each other. Like, where else do you want it to go? At least Bianca Belair brings a new life into the title picture. Like, do you want to see Charlotte Flair again for the 1000th time? Like, you're a Charlotte Flair. Like, what do you want to see? Like,
don't worry, we'll see Charlotte Flair inserted into that Raw Women's title match. That's coming.
Yeah, let's not even talk about it because we know it's coming. But yes, I think Bianca can go over. It's really a lot of the similar theme to a lot of night one matches. You have someone who's an established superstar in Sasha Banks that can take the loss and still be a superstar in 2-3 months. If they don't put Bianca over here, her trajectory is definitely off. Although she could take it as a setback and obviously try to make a comeback. But I think she gets the victory. I think Sasha puts her over in a great match. And it's still storylines palooza for night one. So let's go on to night two here. And then let's start it off with a little bit more simple one. I think this is pretty straightforward. I'll kick it off. I don't see any reason why Sheamus would be beating Riddle at this point. Riddle is your up-and-coming star. He's the champion. He's the guy they've gotten behind. Night one, they put him against AJ Styles in a championship match. They have a lot of stock in this guy. Of course, Sheamus is a big piece. He's a former WWE champion. Phil is making his wrestling with a emotion here. Oh my God, now I'm out of focus. But Ty B, what do you see happening with Riddle versus Sheamus?
Yeah, I was pretty upset with Sheamus when he decided to take that scooter and assault Riddle. I thought that was absolutely appalling. What a bully move by Sheamus. Yeah, they set it up for Riddle to come and get a win and give himself a nice moment here. I think, I'm hoping he wins and then he rides the scooter over Sheamus's, cold, dead, knocked out body.
Yeah, I'll take Riddle to win this one as well, even though he sometimes forgets his lines and forgets that they're on live TV like he did a few weeks ago.
He definitely did. It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It just rides away on the scooter, confusing Asuka, which made it even better. So, yeah, I'll give that one to Riddle.
Yeah.
Real quick, before the bottom makes their picks, if there's anybody who's perfect to act confused, it's Asuka.
Oh, she's great in it. She knows how to carry it. I want Riddle off my television.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I want Riddle off my television, never to be seen again. I want him out of wrestling. I want him gone forever. Can he be on the first plane to Mars when that happens?
But why?
He is the most stereotypical dude bro of everything I hate about dude bros. And the thing is, it's not even a gimmick.
That's WWE, you could pick out 20 of those guys.
No, he is
like
way
Riddle.
more over
Riddle's
the top.
worse.
Yeah, he is. And the thing is, it's not a gimmick, which you think I'd be appreciative of. That it's not a gimmick. That's him. I hate it. I hate dude bros. I hate the surfer mentality. I want him gone. I hope Sheamus kicks his head off. And I'm still picking Sheamus. I'm picking my ginger buddy.
Zach,
All
what do
right.
you got?
Well, I'm just gonna say, bro. And as much as I hate him, I've tried to like him, but I just can't. I don't like how he doesn't wear boots. I don't like this little bro. I don't like him walking around with a scooter.
And then we got the stupid bird thing when he kicks his flip-flops off in the ring now because WWE's got to do those dumb 3D animations
4K,
and designs on entrance.
Is there anything worse than when WWE finds out something's cool?
It was not cool though. That's the thing.
Oh, it was cool. When I saw it at NXT TakeOver in Toronto, he came in and he did the kickoff, that was sick.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the added 3D,
of
someone in
course,
WWE
of
learned what
course.
After Effects is, and they're like, oh my God,
Star Wars.
After Effects, exactly. Let's add
CC
orbital flare.
CC Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. It was literally a blockbuster every single time he hit the ring, and WWE's like, let's change this as much as possible.
Yeah.
Again, so we'll see if WWE can stay out of their own way.
Bobby Roode. Like, oh, you're Robert Roode. No, asshole, it's Bobby Roode. We like the character. We like the intro. Same thing with Shinsuke. They brought Shinsuke in, and with the first month and a half, they fucking buried him. Like, he was in the title picture, and now he's not. Like, are you shitting me? Like, they just bring Bobby Roode and Shinsuke and all these people up, and they fucking bury him. That's why I'm glad Tommaso Ciampa is still down there and doing what he's doing. That's why Finn Balor went down there. Like, Vince is an asshole. Let me and we'll be fine. It's a better show.
This is why you got. I mean, you love him or hate him, you got to have Monster on the show. Just fuck Vince McMahon. We love it. Thank you for WrestleMania. Let's keep rolling on here. So we all have Riddle, and again, unless WWE gets in their way. A common theme. There's a clear winner in a lot of these matches that should be based on the storyline. And
Hold on. You said we all got Riddle. No, we don't.
Well, wait. Our crew has Riddle. I'm sorry. As a crew for McAdoo for the majority. You don't have Riddle.
Exactly. And this match
You
is gonna
want
be the
Riddle
reason
off
I
your
win.
TV. You want Riddle off your TV.
I want him
Which
gone.
you make clear. Now,
Gone.
two superstars I don't want off my TV. I want them on my TV as much as possible. The aforementioned Raw Women's Champion Asuka, and I don't care if she just got shoehorned into the storyline 2 weeks ago because of COVID. Ria Ripley. Are you kidding me? Her debut, all I just tweeted, I go, this is a superstar. And I know I've seen her in NXT. We saw her in the Royal Rumble before. She just has it. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is because I would try and replicate in some way and I would fail terribly. But my goodness, when she comes out, it is electric. And hopefully WWE won't, neuter it or find some way to, ruin it. But we will go on. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Do they put her over this early? Ty B, what are you thinking?
I'm hoping so. I mean, she's the main reason like I got back into wrestling like on a regular basis. Dwayne got me back watching it, and I got in before War Games last year, and watching her and that women's performance and everything she's done since then. She's a phenomenal athlete. She just adds so much. She's a bigger woman too, so she brings that power, but she's just all around speed, everything, and that persona and all of it. I think she just has it, like you said. Like you can describe it and try to and put words to it as much as you want, but it's just not possible. I think Rhea Ripley gets the moment here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rhea Ripley, it just looks like a superstar. You have her go over Asuka. You have her win a rematch against Asuka. We were all joking about Charlotte, but Charlotte will be in the main event picture here soon. Have her get her win back over Charlotte from last year's WrestleMania. Really build her up into a force.
This business is simple. It's about who's hot. Asuka's won. Rhea Ripley is hot. You give the belt to Rhea Ripley, you put her over. Asuka's going to be fine. But you ride the title weight. And not for nothing, it's not like it's a knock against Rhea Ripley. She can whoop ass. Rhea Ripley's awesome. So I think they can put the belt on her and ride her for another 2-3 pay-per-views until they have to decide to change something up to freshen up the storyline. But I think Asuka's going to be just fine. But Rhea Ripley's awesome.
Yeah, Asuka's had the belt since Money in the Bank, so she's not going to keep it. Ripley should have won last year. We get why they put it on Charlotte. They were trying to get NXT ratings and get interest. It makes sense business-wise why they did it. It was best for business.
AEW came out there to put the brakes on it.
But Rhea Ripley, it's just there for her, man. She's the star of Raw in the making. She is the star.
Yeah.
I'm saying Rhea. And this goes back to what I said earlier in the show. I've had enough of Asuka holding the title. She's held it since May. It's been long enough.
Asuka's hot.
Please.
Of course, Asuka's hot. All these superstars are all attractive, whether they're men or women, Monster. That's what we're talking about. And let me say something. Asuka has reached the point, we've talked about it on the show, just like Seth Rollins, just like The Miz. She does not need a title to be super relevant and be a threat every time she hits the ring. So we can absolutely do that. Let's hope WWE makes the right decision on that.
Well, and you're going to have Becky Lynch coming back in soon. She's going to be coming back after the maternity leave. And there's talks Ronda Rousey's going to be entering the picture even sooner than her. So that could be coming in the next month or two, right, Zach?
Ronda never lost her title. She needs to get the shot back.
Hold on. Did they count 1, 2, 3 on her? I'm pretty sure she lost the title.
The shoulder never touched the ground. It was up.
You probably also think Roman Reigns is a good wrestler.
Oh yeah. Piss off. Piss off.
You want to see a WrestleMania feud? Well, you never know.
Regardless if Rousey comes back, don't make her look like a fucking raccoon from Super Mario Brothers. You look like I don't buy that. Like you look like an asshole. Like don't paint your face like that. Just go in, whoop ass, and leave. You don't need to fucking make.
Every WWE superstar upon return should have to get approval by Monster for their look and everything. That's all I'm going to say. Folks, thank you for watching along with us. We are almost 50 minutes in. We have 5 more matches for this WrestleMania weekend.
Talbot, you look defeated.
Talbot is not defeated.
All right, Talbot.
But you know who's probably going to be defeated is the team that goes against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler night 2 of WrestleMania. Obviously, Nia Jax and Shayna have been champions for a while. They have kind of a vibe where it doesn't seem like they should be champions. They come out to separate entrances. You know, lately Nia Jax seems more preoccupied with my guy Reginald. But I'm going to start it off here. I think Nia Jax and Shayna retain. I don't think they have any
I wouldn't
faith.
fight them with anybody on this panel. I wouldn't fight Nia with anybody on this panel. Like they will.
Neither would I. You'd be a crazy person. I mean, unless I'm Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble, I'm not taking on Nia Jackson. Definitely not the Ace of Spades or the Queen of Spades. Sorry, Shayna Baszler. But gentlemen, let's go to Ty B first. What do you got happening when Nia Jax and Shayna face off in night 2 against the tag team turmoil winners?
Yeah, I mean, if it is Dana and Mandy Rose, like a lot of us were picking, I think they have an opportunity to win. I think they can put them over. I think that could, we could see, the axe really be thrown in between Jackson and Baszler here, and they can have their own feud as well. And then, you have another storyline within the women's division outside of the title picture as well that I think still remains intriguing. And it switches things up as well at the top of that tag team division. I think, it could use a little bit of that. It's nice to see Jackson, Baszler run through the way they have, but, they should have lost, to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai on NXT. So, we'll see what happens with it. And it really depends who wins that tag turmoil match. But, I'm going to go with the winner, just hoping that it's Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Let's not ignore the fact that Nia Jax has injured almost everybody that she's wrestled. Let's not ignore the fact that Nia Jax is a liability to this business. Like, how long are they going to allow her to just hurt top talent in a very thin women's division and just ignore it? Like,
it's a totally fair question based on what's happened. She has hurt Superstars best. But WWE doesn't seem worried. Like, just a plain and simple. They don't seem worried about it. They haven't. She has not left the main event or title picture for the women's division for the last 2 years.
And if it was the men's division, it'd be completely different.
I honestly think, I agree. She's liability and dangerous. Though that dangerousness and her being careless is the best thing that ever happened to Becky Lynch. But
yes.
But yeah, Lana, I still think Lana and Naomi win, and they walk out with the titles, and this night ends at the end of it with Nia Jax being put through a table. Maybe this is where we see the breakup of Shayna and Nia, and Shayna puts Nia through the table.
Ooh.
I want to point out the smartest thing that Monster said all night is that Nia is a liability. How she still has a job with the WWE right now is beyond
She's related to The Rock.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere, folks.
That's the unfortunate part.
So I like Nia. That's the thing. She's careless in the ring and probably should have sent back down for when Vince came out wanted some wrestlers sent to
What do you like about
the
it?
PC. I'm a fan of the big monstrous women. I'm a fan of big monstrous heel personalities.
Tamina was that woman. She don't hurt anybody.
Who?
Tamina.
No, she was
Tamina
never
was
that big monstrous woman. I never took her seriously as that.
That's fair. And let's face it, Nia Jax did get a lot of viral pop with, I can say this since Owen Talbot's not on the live feed, My Hole. The My Hole got a lot of pop. And let's face it, when you get mainstream pop, or not even mainstream pop, viral social media pop, WWE doesn't exactly throw you to the side very quick. So it was a little bit of what are you going to say, McAdoo?
I didn't get to my pick yet. You guys can cut me off.
I'm sorry.
I have Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose written down ×2. Book it. Talbot, did you make your pick yet?
I didn't. I'll go Jax Baszler just because I've seen a lot of these things where someone wins and they get the title match the next night only to lose. So I'll just go with it for that reason.
Kane when he won the title. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, we are going down the home stretch here. And speaking of this, this has WrestleMania match written all over it. Not only is it Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, two former best friends turned bitter enemies, turned best friends, turned bitter enemies, turned better enemies, blah, 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 times about 38. Sami Zayn with his conspiracy theory crew and Logan Paul. How is this all going to play out? Logan Paul is clearly going to start live streaming at ringside or something. How is this going to play out, guys? I want to start. Obviously, we've been doing Ty B a lot of that. I want to start with Talbot on this first one because I feel like you'll have a reasonable answer to all this nonsense.
Yeah, I won't.
I think you have Kevin Owens winning. You have Logan Paul helping him win because Sami Zayn does something to upset him. So then again, you get that viral moment with your celebrity, which, Logan Paul, I don't know if it's fair to call him a celebrity, but he's an online celebrity. He's very popular with the younger generation. So he'll have some kind of moment where he'll get involved and help Kevin Owens win.
I hate the younger generation.
Thanks.
Get off my lawn. Old man yells at cloud. I don't care. Look, this match went from being my match to I could give two shits about this match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I was so stoked to see the dynamic of those two where they're flipped face heel. We've seen it. We've seen Kevin as heel and Sami as that underdog baby face. We haven't seen it in WWE this way. I was so stoked. And then they bring Logan Paul into it and completely kill any interest I have to the point where that'll be the match I put my son to bed during.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow night when he's going to be debuting some of this, behind the scenes footage, this documentary, if you will, of all these conspiracies. I'm ready for it. I know Maniac's a bit of a tin hat conspiracy guy.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they do with it. I don't know, bringing Logan Paul is the best thing, but they could do it right, and it could, be a real big pop for them. I like the way that they, have made Sami Zayn's conspiracies into like a big thing, and with Kevin Owens being on his side, and then kind of sitting there against him, and in that turn, I enjoyed it. I thought it was decently interesting, and like I was intrigued going into this matchup. We'll see what they do with Logan Paul, though. I think the big thing is what happens Friday night, right, Zach?
Oh yeah, of course. They've done a good job, I will say, of making this week relevant to WrestleMania. I do wish that the Hall of Fame was on a weekend still. I would have liked to be able to watch that, but with that said, WWE's got to do what WWE's got to do. I mean, they're getting that peacock money, or as I call it, the penis money. I'm sorry. Owen Talbot's not here, so I'm allowed to say that. But looks like we're rolling with Kevin Owens for this pick for the crew. Am I right?
No,
I'm a push.
Well, what do you got?
You take two great athletes like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and you're throwing a fuck boy like Logan Paul. Like, you're not interested in anything but YouTube views and making some cash. And the fact that Vince would even entertain this for a WrestleMania angle is absolutely fucking pathetic. It's as stupid as when they brought Gronk in, and they want people to believe that Gronk is a story angle. Like, Logan Paul, get the fuck out of here. Like, you have no business at WrestleMania. And the fact that they're going to take athletes like Sami Zayn, who I don't like, but his character is great, and Kevin Owens, who I love and I absolutely respect because he's a fucking hound dog, and they're going to let this guy work in and make some money off this angle at WrestleMania, it's pathetic to me. It's fucking pathetic. Like, it's WrestleMania. Leave this asshole out of it. He brings nothing to the table as far as the overall rankings of the match goes.
My biggest takeaway so far from this panel is that we got to have Straw and Monster do like a GM mode of WWE together, because I think that they combined could make the perfect product.
The Hurricane would be my WWE champion every day.
Well, that would be silly not to give him like a 4-year-long push. Of course, there's a Hurricane.
35 years of watching this shit. Like,
yeah, we didn't start yesterday, and we're not stopping tomorrow, folks. WrestleMania this weekend, we got 3 matches left, and they all have either prestige or a storyline that has been 6+ months in the making. Let's start off with the Intercontinental Championship. This has been kind of one of those prolonged feuds. They battled at Fastlane, and a lot of times when you get a little Fastlane, you might shoehorn into a new storyline before WrestleMania. But no, it is Big E versus Apollo Crews, and this is going to be in a Nigerian drum fight. Like, again, like, this is one of those WWE matches where you got to do a little like double take. Okay, Nigerian drum fight. I don't know how that means that they're gonna win, but Monster, tell me.
I'm done after this. I'm not gonna predict this. I'm done before these last 3 matches. I want you guys to get my opinion after WrestleMania. So I'm gonna dip out. I'm going to spend time with my fiance. I'm going to let you guys pick these last 3 matches, and I'm going to come in at the post game, and we're going to do our coverage. So with all due respect, I'm going to leave my opinionated business to you guys. Let you guys pick this, and I will catch you guys after WrestleMania.
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you for joining us. I haven't
love
been
you
that
guys.
shocked since the Usos forfeit to the New Day during Kofi Mania run. Honestly,
I love that.
what a shock! That was storytelling at its best. Storytelling
100%.
at its best.
I
So
watched WrestleMania 35 last night because I needed to relive some happy moments, and it's so like that was the first time in a long time that I got emotionally choked up watching a wrestling match because I felt like I have no emotional investment in the guy's life, but I felt that moment.
Now, this is probably I would say, guys, this is the most dynamic match across the entire WWE WrestleMania 37 card, because if Big E retains, he officially has a very long championship run with Rumble defenses and WrestleMania defenses. And if Apollo Crews wins, he finally gets that real big push. He was U.S. champion, I believe, briefly, but he finally wins that prestigious title on the main roster. Big E, obviously a character where he would probably take a step back, but he could survive this loss. So there's a lot of ways that they could go with this versus the other matches we've talked about tonight that are a little bit clearer. Ty B, tee us off. Big E versus Apollo Crews. What do you got happening?
Yeah, I think this is like the biggest kind of crapshoot on the entire thing. Anything could happen. I don't think any of us have seen a Nigerian drum match before. I'm going to speak out of personal experience. I have not. We used to have an African drum troupe at City Honors, but that's the closest experience I have to any of that. I think, the theatrics around it and surrounding it could make this, a match that steals the spotlight on night 2. I have high expectations for it. I hope it meets it. But, with the amount of development they've put into Apollo Crews, I think this is his moment to shine right here.
Yeah, Apollo doesn't lose drum matches. That's his, he's gonna that's gonna be his gimmick. He's gonna be the king of the drum match. I said a few months ago when we did one of these shows that I really liked the angle that they were building up there with Big E and Apollo. I think Apollo finally wins the belt here at WrestleMania, starts a little bit of a reign here, but Big E winning it back here in a few months wouldn't surprise me.
Six straight title losses.
That's how I would feel when WrestleMania was one night, to be honest. I had tough making it through. I'm glad it's 2 nights now.
6 title losses in a row for Apollo. And yet we talked about like who's going to be next or how back of the barrel. 6. And the way to get him out of this is by giving him a terrible accent out of nowhere. No, Big E should win it. He needs to win it, and Apollo needs to go back to doing nothing. I like heel Apollo, but the whole this is who I really am with the fake accent thing. It's just no, it's not. You're from Sacramento, California. We know. Everybody knows. Like
WWE does paint itself into a corner sometimes with the fake accents. Not gonna lie.
And they did it with Kofi, but they somehow got out of it because of comedy with DX. They luckily had DX around at the time when Kofi dropped the accent, so they can make a joke out of it.
Yes, they did. And so we're a little bit split on that one. So that'll be interesting. Again, a very dynamic match in the card. And
we got to hear Zach.
I'm sorry.
Not you.
Zach, yeah.
Zach.
I always skip McAdoo because he's just sitting there.
I'm always quiet and waiting for my turn.
You are politely.
I have Apollo Crews because I'm thinking like, what the hell is a Nigerian drum match? So I figure he's the only one who knows. So leg up, and Big E will probably get a Universal title push at some point.
I agree. I think this could absolutely be a situation where Big E loses this match, but he's in the title picture literally a week later in like a fatal 4-way or something like that for sure, based on his push. Okay. And then there were 2. The match with probably the biggest buildup of all of them. A match that goes back to last year and then some. It's the Fiend versus Randy Orton. So I want to kick this one off a little bit differently. Is there any way that Randy Orton pins the Fiend in this match?
Hell no.
0.0. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, tell me how.
I think something happens where the Fiend something gimmicky is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be, bugs on the mat. Weird, like the AV match at Mania 33. But there's going to be something that allows Orton to pin this. to end this, because I think we see the end of the Fiend for good after Mania. I think WWE wore out its welcome with it. They ruined it too many times, and I think this is where we finally see the end of it.
Was the initial ruining on the Hell in a Cell DQ?
100%.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Period. Was
I don't mind. Well, I do mind hearing that because I like the Fiend, and I think the Fiend still has a lot of story left to tell. Ty B, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, I love the Fiend. I think, they haven't always done it great, but he brings so much, and it's just such a different breath of air from the rest of what's going on with the main WWE roster. I think that's one of the reasons AEW has been getting a big push, because they're building characters with these storylines that aren't necessarily fully real, not fully believable. But, if you just take yourself to that place, you're a kid again, you believe it, and you can build and you can really get behind some of these people as big characters. And the Fiend is one of those people who's just polarizing within the WWE universe. I'm really hoping he wins, ends the Legend Killer streak here, and puts Randy Orton down for good.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Fiend as well, winning this match, ending this feud, hopefully once and for all, between the two of them. I think the biggest mistake they made with the Fiend was putting him in the title picture. He's a special attraction. That's what he should be. That's what his gimmick should be. Use him for these big cards. Obviously, use him on the Raws to build up the angles. Don't have him wrestle, though. Use him kind of like The Undertaker. I know The Undertaker had his fair share of title reigns, but he never needed the belt. The Fiend doesn't need the belt. He's a special attraction. Keep it that way going forward.
Yeah, with the Fiend being my minus 950 favorite for this, I find it kind of hard for me to look away and go, yeah, Orton's definitely winning this, because I just can't. There's no looking at what has happened in the past weeks. There's no way Orton wins, especially after his loss to Bliss. But
okay, fair. And I love that we got McAdoo checking out odds now. Trainwreck Sports truly permeates every phase of life. And just to be fair to Straw, I did ask if there was any way that Orton won, and there is a way. If he's plus 950, there's a way he could win for sure. There's a possibility. So that's why we tune in. And
money.
My article is on the Trainwreck Sports for WrestleMania coming up with all the odds and whatnot.
Just a quick spoiler, not a spoiler.
Uh-oh.
Adam Cole's new theme is the Drizzling Turds.
Oh, he has a new theme?
Yeah, I have TakeOver on, and it's as if, I'm not going to spoil any of the match results because that'd be a jerk thing to do, but his theme is as if someone at WWE loaded up like WWE like SVR 08 and just chose generic theme 6. It is so bad.
Time to find my PlayStation 2 and go see what generic theme 6 is.
Hopefully he has a good dentist.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. But I mean, NXT, I think, them sort of pushing some of these other things with these intros. I'd love Karrion Kross's intro with the noir feel. I think it can add a lot, to a lot of some of these.
I just want to see that with a live crowd. That's the only thing I really want a live crowd for. Like a full live crowd is to see his theme.
No doubt about it.
We're getting to it.
He has a good entrance, but I find him extremely boring. I don't get it.
I agree, Cross. I agree. I think his entrance is better than his performance.
I don't like him. I
agree. See that? Yeah, and then that's kind of how I feel about Bianca Belair.
Okay. Well, hey, there's a lot to prove this weekend at WrestleMania because she's going to be in the spotlight and she's going to be in a big spot for Vince McMahon for sure. The EST of WrestleMania. Folks, thank you for tuning along with us this whole time. We're not signing off yet, though, because it is the main event of night 2 time. You think you know me? Yes. And the head of the table going head-to-head, the Rated R Superstar, the head of the Yes Movement versus the Rated R Superstar, the Ultimate Opportunist, Edge. And the odds, McAdoo, are not telling us anything in this matchup. Nobody's more than plus 200, and nobody is officially a favorite in this one. We have Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for WWE's Universal Championship. Ty B, who ya got?
I think this is the hardest fight to predict, just from everything with the build-up. Not even, just looking at the odds. Like I didn't even need those to tell you. Like this is a 3-way coin flip, and you can't even do that. So bringing Edge back and the way they did, I feel like the fans, like that's where they're leaning, at least. Like they all kind of want Edge to get this moment after, waiting so long and getting these teases of it. And it, it's so hard for me to pick against that right now. But I have a feeling that they're going to keep it on Roman Reigns and he's going to tackle someone to win.
That's exactly where I'm thinking. Reigns is going to tackle somebody or, orange punch him. But he's going to, but I think what's going to ultimately happen is this is going to kickstart a one-on-one Edge and Bryan feud out of this. Reigns keeps it. He pins Bryan. Edge, because he didn't get pinned, loses his mind even more, goes full on heel side, blames Bryan, saying, I would have won if this was one-on-one. You came in, you lost the match, you cost me the title, and it kicks off something like that, which I would love to see. Give me Edge versus Bryan one-on-one all day.
Talk about diversifying your portfolio. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in. That is a main event match, and then you could have Reigns versus whoever somewhere else.
Exactly. Then you can kick that
or
Reigns
whatever you
Cesaro
want.
or something.
Yeah, I'm more interested in seeing that at Backlash than Reigns versus anybody.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I thought when you added Daniel Bryan in the mix, it gave you a way to get the title off of Roman Reigns without him being pinned. But at the same time, I don't know where you go if Daniel Bryan pins Edge or if Edge pins Daniel Bryan, because I don't see Roman Reigns taking this fall either way. So I like Mike's scenario. Roman Reigns wins. Edge is even more furious that his one-on-one match didn't take place. He wasn't the one that was pinned. You get more of that rated R superstar in the feud with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's good about putting everyone over here towards the end of his career. And then eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, you can get the belt on Edge some way, somehow. I don't think it would be against Roman Reigns, so Roman would have to drop it at some point. But I do see Edge eventually getting the belt, just not at WrestleMania.
Well, folks, there is a lot to look forward to. A huge...
You did it again!
And it's McAdoo's prediction.
on that one, I have to. I am not gonna lie. I did a little bit on purpose because I think we know where
you're
this
only
is
doing it
going.
because you got called. No,
we know where this is going. You're muted. He's muted too.
Son of a bitch! All right, let me see what you guys think. Know me. Let me hear what you guys think I was gonna say.
Well, who does he pin then? At least both of them.
Yeah,
no.
He spears them both at the same time, stacks them on top of each other, and then he peers all of them. He pees on all of them. Yeah, pins all of them. Yeah, he peacocks on all of them, and there you go.
No,
with that crappy service.
All right, hold on. Let's get Daniel Bryan for the second time in his career is in a main event match he has no business being a part of. I said it, and that's me being a Daniel Bryan fan back then.
Wow.
And now.
All right, where do you live? Because I'm about to get in my car.
We are starting every stream 72 minutes in, so you always bring that kind of heat whenever we're going now, because that was amazing.
You're welcome. Okay, but so Daniel Bryan's only added this match to take the fall, and it's not Roman Reigns picking up the win. It is Edge. He gets his first title in 10 years.
Wow,
a title he never lost.
I haven't been this
he
shocked.
lost it. His back beat him, or neck beat him.
He had to relinquish the belt. He didn't. His back was never on the mat for him to lose it, just like Ronda Rousey.
I have
Father
not
Time
been,
never loses.
I have not been this shocked since WrestleMania 17. A McMahon in every corner when Vince McMahon hit The Rock with a steel chair.
Year before.
16?
16.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Well, 2000. It throws me off because it was WrestleMania 2000. Give me that straw.
No.
I got you. You're okay.
But they branded as 2000. They never really.
Which was really annoying.
Yes,
I get it. Everybody branded everything that year as 2000.
By the way, shout out to that WrestleMania for opening with a Godfather entrance accompanied by Ice-T, and of course, no Owen here, the Ho Train. I'm sorry. I had to say it for factual purposes.
Pimping ain't easy, man.
It is not easy, man. And shout out to everybody and all our viewers for proving that. And shout out to this panel. I mean, we've done episodes all year long. This is what the buildup is for. It's all about these WrestleMania moments, these things that are going to change the landscape of the wrestling industry this weekend, most definitely. And of course, will most definitely change it Monday when Jinder Mahal makes his return to Monday Night Raw, of course.
Don't hinder my gender.
Most definitely. A huge shout out. Make sure you're following our panel, of course, at Ryan Talbot Bills, at ZD McAdoo, at Mike Shaw Media, at Ty Buffalo. We are rocking. We are rolling, and it is WrestleMania weekend. It is time for things to get out of control. Folks, it's not just wrestling with a budget. It's not just wrestling with your conscience. It's wrestling with emotion. Prince Philip making his debut. Oh, no.
He's behind,
here.
perfectly behind you.
He's hiding. He's hiding. Then, now, forever.